Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Rayron VR, your Ice Dragon. We got another manga spotlight for you today. This is Bakuman Volume 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back here and see what we've got. Alright, average student. Moitaka Mashiro enjoys drawing for fun. When his classmates and inspiring writer Akitu Takagi discovers his talent, he begs Morika to team up with him as a manga creating duo. But what exactly does it take to make it in the manga publishing world? Moritaki is hesitant to seriously consider Akito's proposal because he knows how difficult reaching the professional level can be. Still, encouragement from persistent Akito and motivation from his crush push Moritaka to test his limits. All right, and with that, it is Viz Media, Shonen Jump, and is rated T14. And it reads from right to left. MSRP is $9.99. I think I got this for like $5, so I'm very happy about this particular manga series. So we will go ahead and dive right into it. But before that, I want to say spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to watch this video at a later time. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the table of contents, and then we'll dive into Bakuman. I always want to say Bakuman, but I know Bakuman is a tabletop game with miniatures and cards that transform from like balls and triangles and squares and stuff. But I'm pretty sure this is Bakuman, not Bakugan. So I don't know. Anyways, let's see. Table of contents. Okay, so right here we've got our table of contents. It is technically chapters for this particular manga. So right here we got Dreams and Reality, Dumb and Smart, Pen and Storyboard, Parent and Child, Time and Key, Top and Bottom, Smile, and Bashful. So with that, we go into this particular story of we've got this very popular manga kind of artist and writer, which is our main character's uncle. So the uncle is Nabuo Masharu, which is, again, like I said, the uncle of our main character, Moritaka. I apologize. I am going to butcher the crap out of these names. Yeah, I'll just try to do the best I can. What's interesting about our main character, though, is that I think he goes by a nickname, and I think it's Saiku, which I will reference him as Saiku, because that's what Soljin, which is a classmate of his, the one that kind of pushes our main protagonist, Saiku, into going into this career field. So this particular manga reminds me of Blue Period, where we have this average student going through schools. You know, he's got to pick his high school and so forth, but he wants, not necessarily he wants to, he's kind of pushed into the direction of manga development, and he is really a good drawer. And our other friend here, Soljin, who is kind of a smart individual student, sees his talent, and he knows that he needs a good drawer to basically develop the stories that Soljin wants to do. And so our main protagonist forgets his notebook when he leaves school one day, and then Soljin realizes that flipping through the notebook, he notices a drawing of our main protagonist's notebook. And sorry, I gotta do something here really quick. There we go. So the camera doesn't glitch out on me. I keep forgetting to do that. But anyways, our main protagonist has a crush on another student. Her name is Azuki, and it comes to our other friend's realization that Saiku here can draw really well. And as a result, Soljin wants Saiku to team up so that way they can create a manga story and go down this other path of potentially trying to have a manga as a career. And so as we go through the story, it takes a little bit of time. Basically, Soljin uses Asuki as kind of the leveraging point to get Saiku to go along with this crazy plan. Because originally, our main protagonist here, um, Saiku, doesn't want to go down that path because he starts opening up the story about his uncle, who unfortunately passes away because of all, to my understanding, the stress of trying to be a manga um, creator and trying to make it into the business. Some believe that he may have committed suicide, but again, that's kind of up in the air. But Saiku is kind of hesitant to go down that path too because his parents aren't really in favor of him taking down this path because of what happened to his uncle. And so Soljin uses Asuki to say, hey, if you also join our team, you can be the voice actor of when our manga eventually gets anime adaptation, and then we have a voice actor with us. So she naturally agrees, and there's a lot of awkward, lovey relationship drama between the two a little bit, but it gets kind of flushed out near the end. But again, just kind of this montage of going back and forth, trying to develop the characters in this love relationship. And so once that's all pretty much settled, they come to this realization that when Saiku does agree to do it, and basically he tells his parents, the parents weren't really on board. However, there's kind of a turning point that the grandfather agrees to give the keys of the studio from the uncle to Saiku and Shoujin, so that way they can actually see what it's like. And so he inherits this studio full of drawings, full of storyboards, full of a whole bunch of just manga. I'm going to see if I can show that picture just to give you guys kind of the breadth of content that the uncle was doing. Let's see if I can find a page here. But it's kind of impressive, just the effort that you have to go through to truly understand the just okay, right here. So right here you can see the uncle just had a huge collection of action figures, and then here is the studio. So we're going to dive into this. So again, we got our two main characters here. We've got Saiku and Soljin. They go into the studio that Saiku has now inherited, and you can see like there are bookshelves of just undeveloped, unpublished manga sections, other former mangas that the uncle was reading to get inspired. And then you can see kind of the studio, the painting and everything. This is a great panel. I like it because it just gives you that world building, because I always argue that the world is a character. And if you provide details, provide unique little aspects, depth, and just variety, it brings that character to life. It brings the world to life. And so we kind of see that in this particular panel here, which is really, really nice. And so they get the opportunity to basically live the life of, a manga writer, editor, drawer, and so forth. And they get an idea of just, how much effort they have to go in there. There's an interesting twist to this story. I am not going to talk about it because when they go into the studio, they find some love letters. And I am not going to go into the details with that. So you guys have to read the manga to figure out that small little detail. And so they go through, and then they start to get inspired. They start all these creative works and so forth, and then they get inspired to go ahead and create their own story. Now, as we go through the next couple of days, we continue to see kind of the love between Asuki and our main character, Saiku, start to develop. There's more panels that go into detail with that. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about that relationship because there's a lot of it in there, and there's an interesting twist that I want to save for when you guys actually read it. So, again, I usually say spoilers, but if there's like a big twist to the story that's not really too driven by the plot, then I'll talk about it. But if it is kind of interesting, I'll try to leave it for you guys to read. And this is one that I think I'll let you guys read to figure it out. So with that, they go on to drawing their storyboards. to create their own manga. Now, one thing that the artist really does well and the story writer really do well here is that this is heavily meta. Now, the author here, to my understanding, again, I'm not too familiar with artists. I'm still and story writers because I'm still very much a novice when it comes to manga. And so our main storyboard here, I think, is also the same author as Death Note, and there's a lot of Death Note references in here. It would not surprise me if these two particular characters are actually these two guys right here. They're just basically putting themselves into these characters to show you guys just how the lifestyle of being a manga writer and being a manga artist are. And I appreciate this manga because this gives you a lot more detail into just how much work and effort it takes to become a writer and a artist. But we see that process, and this manga does a really good job with that. Just like how Blue Period gives you the insight of how to be an artist, this one gives you the insight of being a storyboard drawer and an artist, and how the two have to go hand in hand, and how storyboards work, and how publishers and editors will look into the storyboards, and a lot of advice into how, like, trying to find a good editor, that an editor can make or break your manga. And I really do appreciate those examples because, again, that's just as life lessons. I love when these type of stories give me life lessons through the character, through the world, through our our writer and our artists tell it, which is pretty cool. I really do appreciate that. So we have kind of a montage of them drawing their storyboards and so forth. And then finally, by the end of this particular volume, they go into the Jump Studio, or excuse me, yeah, it's called Jump, I think is the publisher, which, again, it's heavily meta because Shonen Jump manga. So I think they call it just a Jump manga. But they go into the studio, and then they try to submit their first story. So definitely excited for that. And that's where the manga ends. But overall, this is, I think, an older manga. I think it came out, I want to say, in the early 2000s. Let's see what the copyright date is. Oh, no, I was way off. Okay, so as I'm reading this, first publication in Japan was in 2008. And it looks like the original patent was 1988. So that can tell you just how long it's been in development. So first printing was in 2010, third printing March of 2011. So again, to my understanding, this comes from the same storyteller from Death Note. And I am really excited to read the rest of this volume. So with that, guys, thank you so much for listening in on this spotlight video for Bakuman Volume 1. Again, if you have any manga suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what I do here on this particular channel. If you want to continue to support what I'm doing here, there's plenty of links down below that can kind of guide you into doing that. Again, not required, but I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching this manga spotlight, and I'll see you on the next one.